Today, our topic is the dark side of pleasure. Stoic insights. Life is full of moments that make us feel good. We enjoy delicious food, we love to relax, we seek comfort, and we chase after things that make us happy. Pleasure feels like a reward, something we deserve after hard work or stress. But what if I told you that pleasure has a dark side? The ancient Stoic philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius warned us about the dangers of chasing pleasure without thinking. They believed that pleasure, when not controlled, can lead us away from a meaningful life. Let's explore this idea and see how Stoic wisdom can help us live better. First, let's talk about what pleasure is. Pleasure is a feeling of enjoyment or satisfaction. It comes from things like eating your favorite meal, watching a good movie, or spending time with friends. Pleasure is not bad in itself. It's natural to want to feel good. But the Stoics believe that pleasure becomes a problem when we depend on it too much. When we start to think that pleasure is the main goal of life, we lose sight of what truly matters. The Stoics taught that life is not about avoiding pain or chasing pleasure. Life is about living with virtue, wisdom, and self-control. They believe that true happiness comes from within, not from external things like money, fame, or comfort. One of the dangers of pleasure is that it can become addictive. When we enjoy something, we want more of it. This is how habits are formed. For example, if you enjoy eating sweets, you might start eating them every day. At first it feels good, but over time, it can harm your health. The same thing happens with other pleasures, like scrolling on social media, buying things you don't need, or even drinking alcohol. These things feel good in the moment, but they can lead to problems later. The Stoics warned us about this. They said that pleasure can trick us. It makes us think we are happy, but in reality, it only gives us temporary satisfaction. True happiness, according to the Stoics, comes from living a life of purpose and meaning, not from chasing fleeting pleasures. Another problem with pleasure is that it can make us weak. When we focus too much on comfort and ease, we become less able to handle challenges. Life is not always easy. There will be times when we face difficulties, pain, or loss. If we are used to always seeking pleasure, we might struggle to cope with these hard times. The Stoics believed that we should prepare ourselves for adversity. They said that we should practice self-discipline and learn to endure discomfort. This doesn't mean we should avoid all pleasures, but we should not let them control us. By practicing self-control, we become stronger and more resilient. We learn to face life's challenges with courage and calmness. The Stoics also warned us about the illusion of pleasure. Sometimes we think that certain things will make us happy, but they don't. For example, many people believe that having more money will make them happy. But studies show that after a certain point, more money does not lead to more happiness. The same is true for fame, power, or material possessions. These things might give us temporary pleasure, but they don't bring lasting fulfillment. The Stoics believed that real happiness comes from living in harmony with nature and with ourselves. It comes from being virtuous, from helping others, and from finding peace within. Pleasure, on the other hand, is often superficial. It doesn't last, and it doesn't truly satisfy us. So, what can we do to avoid the dark side of pleasure? The Stoics gave us some practical advice. First, they said we should practice moderation. This means enjoying pleasures in small amounts, but not letting them take over our lives. For example, it's okay to enjoy a good meal, but we shouldn't overeat. It's okay to relax, but we shouldn't spend all our time being lazy. Moderation helps us stay balanced. It allows us to enjoy life without becoming slaves to our desires. Second, the Stoics advised us to focus on what we can control. Many things in life are outside our control. We can't control the weather, other people's actions, or the passage of time. But we can control our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Instead of chasing after external pleasures, we should focus on developing our inner strength. We should work on becoming better people, on improving our character, and on living with integrity. The The Stoics believe that this is the key to true happiness. When we focus on what we can control, we become less dependent on external things for our happiness. Third, the Stoics taught us to practice gratitude. Instead of always wanting more, we should learn to appreciate what we already have. Gratitude helps us see the good in our lives, even when things are not perfect. It reminds us that we don't need endless pleasures to be happy. We can find joy in simple things, like a beautiful sunset, a kind word from a friend, or a moment of peace. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have. It helps us live with contentment and satisfaction. Finally, the Stoics encouraged us to reflect on our lives. They believed that self-reflection is a powerful tool for growth. By thinking about our choices, our actions, and our desires, we can learn from our mistakes and make better decisions in the future. Reflection helps us see the dark side of pleasure more clearly. It shows us how our pursuit of pleasure can lead us astray. It also reminds us of what truly matters in life. By reflecting on our lives, we can align our actions with our values and live with purpose. In conclusion, pleasure is not the enemy, but it has a dark side. If we chase after it without thinking, it can lead us away from a meaningful life. The Stoic philosophers taught us to be careful with pleasure. They showed us how to enjoy life without becoming dependent on external things for our happiness. By practicing moderation, focusing on what we can control, being grateful, and reflecting on our lives, we can avoid the trap of pleasure and live with greater wisdom and strength. Life is not about avoiding pain or chasing pleasure. It's about living with virtue, purpose, and inner peace. This is the Stoic way, and it's a path that can lead us to true happiness.